and my son. Jennifer Bailey told the court that I was going to kill her and that she's afraid for my son's life because I simply wanted to have a relationship with my son. Because I just wanted to share custody with her 50-50, and I begged her to share with me 50-50, and she wouldn't do it. Jennifer Bailey, the co-founder of the Holistic Festival of Life in Plano, made up these disgusting false allegations about me, saying that I did sexual things to my son. And what is corrupt about this court system is that they didn't need any evidence for that. The judge, Piper McCraw of the 469th District Court, straight up read mother's testimony in an affidavit in an ex parte emergency temporary restraining order application on September of 2021, and she didn't have a hearing. My attorney at the time wasn't allowed any kind of time to defend me. The judge read that application, and within hours, she approved the application to restrain me from my son based on Jennifer Bailey's testimony in an affidavit. We weren't even in a court in front of a judge or a jury. The judge has the power to take your son and your child away from you just because somebody says, "Help me, I'm afraid for my life. My life's in danger and I'm afraid of what he's going to do to my son. He's teaching him sexual things." That's what Jennifer Bailey said in her application. No calls to the police, no CPS calls, no history of abuse, nothing ever reported, no police reports, nothing. She never reported anything. Yet she starts this story to tell the court that I have a history of abuse and violence, that I've got a history of hurting my son. In the 2 years before she filed the custody suit, it's called a SAPSER, a suit affecting the parent-child relationship. She filed for custody July of 2019, and it wasn't until 2022, 3 years later, that she makes up a story that in the years preceding the filing of this case, that I have engaged in a conduct that is family violence. She just said it. And I objected to that nonsense. And I brought up to the judge that there's no police record of her ever making a report. Nothing. In fact, she lived with me this entire time, never told me about it, never told anybody about it. Never told her friends about it. Never told anybody about violence. Never told anybody that I ever hit her, ever did anything to her. Why? Because I never did that stuff. I never did any of that stuff. But in court, if you're the mother in Texas, all you got to do is say, "He raped me. He hit me. I'm afraid for my life." And the judge takes your child away. And that's what they do. This court right here is engaging in fraud and corruption. And I just faced the judge, Judge Tom Nowak of the 366th District Court, who is from Poland. He is a Poland refugee who fled the country of communism, a communist nation, that there was wars and such back in the 60s or 70s or whenever he fled. 60s, I don't know, maybe 50s or 60s. I don't know. He's a young judge. He's not much older than me. So it must have been in the 70s when he fled. I was born in the 70s. This judge, Tom Nowak, came over as an immigrant. He's not American, but he got citizenship at some point, joined the Air Force, and became a lawyer. And then in 2019, he was elected as a judge by Greg Abbott, by the Governor Greg Abbott. Tom Nowak was elected as a judge. So this judge, Tom Nowak, a Polish refugee immigrant who is not a native-born American citizen, took my son away from me. This judge based his rulings on mother's testimony alone. They didn't show any evidence. There was no police officer showed up that showed any kind of evidence of abuse. There was none. There was no CPS charges against me, no police charges. You will not find any record of abuse by me to my son or Jennifer Bailey, because it doesn't exist. In a court of law, there's a thing called evidence. Evidence is in the form of video, in the form of audio, in the form of photo evidence, in the form of reports, criminal reports, police reports. This is all evidence, but there's a flaw in the system because there is something called witness testimony, and witness testimony is counted as evidence. Now, there's a flaw in that because witnesses, all they have to do is lie. So if somebody simply doesn't like you, like the court-ordered supervised visitors that didn't like me, and the nurse of my son's pediatrician hospital that didn't like that I stood up for my son to guard him from the vaccine that Jennifer Bailey tried to forcibly inject upon my son, they didn't like the fact that I stood up for my son's rights to not be vaccinated. So, because these are vaccination, religious vaccine promoters, labeled me as an anti-vaxxer, which I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm pro-informed consent, which means I'm okay with a vaccine if it's actually good for you, if it's got clinical trials and studies, and it's been a proven vaccine after years of research. I'm okay with that if it works. But the fact that they're trying to give my son a vaccine and forcibly inject him without my approval, because I'm his father, and I should be in the decision to vaccinate my son or not. And Jennifer was trying to do this against my will without even discussing it to me. Mind you, the leader and the co-founder of the Holistic Festival of Life, who believes in holistic health and wellness, and they merge Eastern medicine with our Western philosophies here. You go ahead and look at her website. Jennifer Bailey promotes holistic wellness, well-being, meditation, yoga, Ayurveda, the holistic way. Vaccines have nothing to do with the holistic way. The holistic lifestyle does not promote vaccines. It's the antithesis of the holistic lifestyle. So she basically made up a story that she was going to vaccinate my son just so she can get a rise out of me. So she baited me. And certainly I didn't approve of that. And I certainly showed up to the hospital appointment, and I simply protested. I simply came with documents in my hand, my court orders that said I have 50-50 joint custody, that I have decision-making abilities, and I had the right to deny the vaccine. And I wanted to speak to the doctors and the nurses about the vaccine so we can have some education on the vaccine. I brought documents. I printed out my research papers on the vaccine. And they kicked me out of the nurse's office and made a huge scene. And the nurse actually assaulted me. And what they did was they used that situation and turned it around against me and said, I'm the one that assaulted, that I'm the one that caused the scene when I didn't do anything. I got the whole thing on video, and I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel, just to show everybody the nonsense that they're calling is violence by me. So, you saw the security around this courthouse. There's a reason why. I just approached the judge in my court because I came in to talk to him personally. And I sat there in an empty court room, and I waited for that judge, Tom Nowak, to come out. And he came out finally. And he said, "Can I help you, sir?" I said, "Yes, Your Honor. There was a confusion on the timing of my hearing today. I got the wrong information, and I showed up at 11, and I just now found out that the hearing was earlier." He said, "Yes, we already had the hearing. Your attorney showed up and argued your motion, and it's over." I just found out he denied my motion for new trial. He denied my motion for new trial when my attorney showed up for me, and her attorney didn't even show up. So here's the corruption. If their attorney doesn't even show up, well, that's a strike against them, and that's their fault and their issue. My attorney was here on time at 9 o'clock this morning, and stood up for me and said, we need a motion for new trial because of the errors that were made in trial, the errors that were made by the judges, the errors that were made by the witnesses, by the court, and by the judge. Judge Tom Nowak is corrupt as can be. I told him, as a tear started pouring down my eye, he said, can I help you? It's over. Can I help you? What do you need? I said, Your Honor, I looked at that judge in his eye and I said, Your Honor, I love my son. He goes, okay. Your Honor, I miss my son. He said, okay. I said, Your Honor, I want to be with my son and I miss him. He said, well, there's a process to do that. And the process to do that is to file for an appeal. And an appeal goes to the Dallas Court of Appeals, to other judges, to look at the entire transcript. 4 days of transcript, 10 hours of testimony, to look over it and to see if there was any errors made. And there were several errors made, but here's the thing, the system is broken, it's corrupt. It's architects and it's engineered to take children away from parents. It's engineered so that parents fight each other and spend all their money and put all their life's worth into this, to attorney's fees, to court fees, to fight for their children. And it's engineered in a way that it keeps you in debt and it takes all your money from you. And they separate you from your children, which is breaking parents is what they're doing. They're breaking us. I told that judge, he kept shooing me off. He kept shutting me down and telling me, well, you can leave the courtroom now. I said, Your Honor, I don't think I got a fair trial. He said, well, that's how it goes. I said, well, the system is corrupt, Your Honor. And he said, so now you're calling me corrupt. I said, no, I didn't call you corrupt. I called the system corrupt. And he goes, well, I'm literally representing the system. I am the system. So you're calling me corrupt. And I said, it's not fair, Your Honor. He goes, what do you mean it's not fair? So now you're telling me I'm not fair and corrupt. You can leave my courtroom now. I said, Your Honor, I got to do what I got to do for my son because I love him. I miss my son, and I'm not a bad person. And you sat there and you denied all my motions. You denied my evidence. That's not justice, Your Honor. And he says, you can leave my courtroom now or else you'll be removed. I said, Your Honor, I'd like to know when you're up for re-election, because I'm letting him know that I'm going to go through everything I can to make sure that judge, that corrupt judge, does not get reelected. And I found an idea. I'm out here in the parking lot. I want to show you what I found somebody else doing. Here we go. Check out this trailer. I want to show this trailer that somebody built by hand. They got 2x4s on a trailer. They built this whole thing, which is cleverly done, and they made signs. And I want to just kind of focus on these signs. This is about Judge Wynn, and that's her right there, Judge Wynn on a wrecking ball. Destroys people and businesses, ignores evidence, disregards laws, violates constitutional rights, and denies God-given rights. Judge Wynn. And they made a whole campaign against her, and they put a website, voteagainstjudgewynn.com. Republican in name only. Lindsey Wynn, Republican in name only. A corrupt judge. Read my story. You can read the story here. You might be able to pick it up on your phones, but I fought to protect this nation. Will you fight for me to remove this unjust judge? That's me. That's me. This is the same sign I can use, but put Tom Nowak's name on this. I'm a veteran. I'm a U.S. Marine veteran. I fought to protect this nation. Refused evidence confirming I was falsely accused of substance abuse and CPS charges. That's the same thing I had about Jennifer Bailey. I had evidence confirming I was falsely accused of molesting my son and abusing him and her. And they denied it. Judge Tom Nowak denied my evidence. Denied access to my shop, forcing me out of business. Now, he didn't do that to me, but, I definitely lost a lot of money because of this judge. This is what judges do. Ignored home income evidence, ordering $7,600 a month in child support. So she has to pay $7,600 a month in child support to the father that won. Restricted access to her children. Accepts campaign donations from the opposing counsel. That's what judges do. They accept campaign donations from their attorneys, from the attorneys that are fighting to take your children away. So Jennifer's attorney, the Coons Fuller Law Firm, and Greg Whitten have given campaign donations to Tom Nowak. And Tom Nowak clearly voted for Jennifer's attorneys because that's how they do this. It's a game. It's about money. Here we go. Judge Whitten is corrupt. 177 years, only 2 incumbent district court judges in Collin County lost their seat in an election. About 90% of an incumbent judge's campaign finances come from attorneys and law firms who profit whether you win or lose in court. They profit on your destruction, on the removal of children from parents. They profit on making men and women insane and abusing children. Judges are profiting on this, and I guarantee you that piece of shit judge is going to drive out of that courtroom in a fucking Ferrari or Lamborghini, and all the money that he's making on the removing of my son from me, from all the money that Jennifer's attorneys and my attorneys put together to donate to his campaigns to remove my child. It's a corrupt fucking system. Satire performance created by local lawyers and a judge showing what they think about you. This is the performance. It's satire, and I guarantee you I know exactly what that is. That's Coons Fuller Firm, Jennifer's attorney. They're acting, performing a satire about taking money from their clients and their whiny ass clients and making lots of money, and they're making it rain with money, rapping and singing a musical song about taking money from their clients, about all in the name of removing children from the parents. Voters must spread the word to vote against corruption. Vote against JudgeWynn.com. I guarantee you that Judge Wynn did something totally fucked up for this parents right here to make this billboard so they can drive around and during her campaign, so they can drive around and let people know what this judge is about. Let's read this. Wicked Win of the West. Ignores evidence, disregards laws, violates constitutional rights, denies God-given rights. That's exactly what happened to me. Vote against Judge Wynn. Vote against Tom Nowak. Destroys people and businesses. The flying monkeys of the court. These are the attorneys that work for the wicked witch. The judges who act like kings and queens that own your children. These people have never even seen you with your children. This is Judge Wynn right here. She disregarded evidence of law and the plain meaning of my premarital agreement. Sherry Alexander is the victim right here. Sherry Alexander. You can read more about the story here. Judge Lindsay Wynn is corrupt. Vote against Judge Wynn. You or someone close to you could be her next victim. Stop supporting Wynn. Vote Wynn off the bench. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Look at the children. This is who they're hurting, the children. Intentionally and maliciously suppressed critical evidence. Tariq Farouk, he must have been a witness or a friend of Sherry Alexander. Judge Wynn literally ignores evidence. Patrick Tutter, another victim. This child is the victim. My son is the victim of this corrupt fucking court system. And it's done nothing but destroy my life. Destroy my family and my connection with my son, my innocent boy, Nicolas Mayu, doesn't have a father right now because of lies and because this fucking court system right here doesn't know the meaning of justice. They don't care about justice. The very fact that they can accept campaign donations from attorneys that are fighting to take your child away, that right there is the definition of corruption. It's a big scam, and it's all about money. And it sucks because I represented myself for a year and a half, and look at me in my suit. I dressed up every day and came to every court appearance as the attorney. I became an attorney overnight. I went to SMU Law Library and I studied law. Every time I had a break between my 2 jobs, I was running 2 jobs this whole time. I picked up a side job scrubbing toilets just so I could make extra money to pay for my court costs and my child support. The extreme child support that they ruled against me. Extreme. I had to pay Jennifer $900 a month in child support that she was turning around and taking that money and funding her legal campaign against me. So my child support never went to my son. The money that I'm slaving for to give for my son's best interest so he can get extra clothes, he can get school supplies, he can get toys, he can get food on the table. Jennifer used that money to give her attorneys to fund her $5,000 a month fees. Attorney's fees are $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 a month when you're battling each other. It's fucking outrageous. I want you to look up the YouTube, the documentary Divorce Corp, like as in corporation, because divorce and child custody is a $60 billion a year corporation. These attorneys and judges are doing this not because it's a prestigious field of work. They're doing this because there's money in this. These people are rich. The fact that high-powered law firms, attorneys, and judges are driving around in Ferraris, Porsches, and fucking Lamborghinis, I mean, that should tell you right there that they're fucking draining you, the parents. They're draining us parents of our financial resources, which is destroying parents. It's made me depressed. I've been dealing with depression this whole time because of this. I've been dealing with this corruption right here from this court right here. I showed up to my hearings valiantly and fought for my son valiantly in my suit as an attorney, and I don't even know what I'm doing. I've never even gone to school for this, but I did this for my son because I love him. I do this for my child. I'm making these videos so that my son will see one day that I fought for you, son. That I came to this courtroom, and this is the courthouse that took you away from me. Judge Tom Nowak, Judge Piper McCraw, corruption at its finest. Let's just rubber stamp whatever mother says. I'm just going to do whatever she says. So you see all the concrete barricades there? You see all the bricks surrounding the place? You see all the cameras? That's here for a reason. They put that there surrounding the court because it's a fortress to guard the judges that are corrupt and that are evil, that take children away from their parents. That's why they do that. That's why they're heavily armed inside. Because parents actually do that. You've seen it on the news. Man goes crazy, kills judge. Man goes crazy, kills the mother, kills the wife, kills the children. You see it all the time. It's a disgusting system that destroys parents, especially men, because the system is rigged in favor of the mother. So you see it on the news all the time. Man goes up to the courthouse and shoots up the place. Or man, runs over, wife, kills the children, right? So what they're doing is causing mental illness in fathers. But I'm here to tell you that I will not be that person. You will not push me to a point where I will do something that you are trying to create violence yourself. You see, I got work I'm doing on myself. I want to show you something here. This book right here, the Shadow Work Journal. I've purchased this book after studying about it, after doing shadow work for 4 years now. It's been 4 years since I've been fighting for my son. We're going 4.5 years now. We're going on 5 years. We're still in court. We are still battling this out. We are still going through this nonsense. So I have been working on my shadow work, and there's all kinds of stuff. There's meditation practices. There's journaling. There's talking about your dreams and your nightmares. It's little exercises, talking about your childhood wounds. You're answering questions, learning your personality traits, talking about your parents, about your life growing up. Fill in the blanks, mirror gazing, looking at yourself in the mirror and talking to yourself. Writing a letter to your past self. Inner child affirmations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing deep work on myself here. Releasing energy. It's talking about how to release stagnant energy. Exercises, and here we go. Fill in the blanks. These are wonderful exercises. Talking about, how you were wounded as a child. This is a great book. I'm like going through this right here. Reflecting questions. Fill in the blank and reflecting questions. Talking about abandonment wounds. Talking about Shadow work. That's what it is. The work of Carl Jung and Carl Jung put in this amazing journal book that I've been working through. I've been working through my dark shadow, my issues, my pain, and my depression. Because as a man that loves myself and my son, I cannot afford to be the monster that they're telling me that I am. She's literally telling the judges, telling the court that I'm a monster. And she got her witnesses to testify that I'm a monster, that I'm going to do violent, crazy things. And no, that's not it at all. I'm a concerned, caring, loving father who's been devastated, who's hurt. And not all people who are hurt have to hurt somebody else for it. And I'm going to be the living testimony of that. So what I'm going to do is continue being an attorney, continue representing myself. As a matter of fact, I just hired a new attorney. So I got an attorney to represent me. So I even had an attorney come in today. And my attorney, who has a bar card, came to fight for me. And they still denied the motion. We have every reason to have a new trial. Every reason to have a new trial. And the judge denied us, even though I got an attorney this time. You see, it's corruption. I can't win. So now here's what I'm facing now. I gotta wait 3 fucking years before I can even file for a modification of my court orders. Court orders would say I'm not allowed to be within 100 feet of my son. I'm not allowed to know where she lives. I'm not allowed to know where my son's going to school. I'm not allowed to contact the school. I'm not allowed to do anything. The court has put me on a severe restriction, and I've got my hands tied. I'm in a fucking prison right now for doing nothing. I didn't do anything but fight for my son's rights. I simply wanted to share custody, and she didn't want to share. So at some point last year, 2022, around July of last year, I said, okay. 2021. In 2021, 2 years ago, I said, okay, you're not going to share with me? Fine. I am going for full custody. So I straight up said, I'm changing the direction here. I'm not going for standard custody like you want. I'm going for full primary custody. Since you don't want to share with me, I'm going to go ahead and go for full custody because I'm the better parent. The better parent is the one who can financially support yourself and the child, the one who can support the child mentally, emotionally, and physically, and the one who is not mental, doesn't have any mental disorders, doesn't have any problems of abuse, and also one of the main reasons, qualifications of a good parent, what I feel is a good parent, is the parent that'll share with the other parent. And that should be a huge consideration in custody, and they don't care about that here. So I'm the only parent that was willing to share, and she wasn't. So because she wouldn't share, I had no other choice but to go for full primary custody. And that's when, precisely the moment when Jennifer Bailey's false allegations started to come out. Because she knew that I could possibly win because I had the better job, I had the better skill set, I'm more talented and more gifted, I'm smarter than her, I have the college education. Everything about me screams a better parent for my son. And the fact that I'm willing to share him with her and not have any kind of beef with her and accuse her of false allegations, that's what makes it even more evidence that I am the more fit parent. Because being a good parent is about parental fitness. And I am the fit parent who was willing to work together with her, and she was just unwilling to work with me. So she gets herself a new boyfriend. They start having a intimate, sexual, passionate relationship immediately. They rush into a relationship and had a baby. They got pregnant within 2 months of knowing each other, of dating. Within 2 months of dating, they already had a child. So they used that child as a way to combat me. So she falls for this guy and seduces this man to fall in love with her to get her pregnant so she can retaliate against me. So it's not even authentic love. She literally went into create a new family out of spite to get back at me, to hurt me, and then they used that against me in court to show that they are the more fit parents because they're in love. Oh, and they got a new baby, and my son has a new sister now. You see what I'm saying? You see how fucked up that is? They literally created a baby while we were battling for our son, while we haven't even figured out custody rights of our son yet. She hasn't even shared my son with me. She made up false allegations against me, got her new boyfriend to testify against me. The guy doesn't even know me. Made up false allegations saying that I went up and assaulted him in front of my son. They just made it up. I'm fucking furious. And I'm recording these videos to show that I have a righteous anger. And this court system fortress is like a militarized police abusing attack dogs is what they are. So Jennifer called her attack dogs to come and strike their vengeance upon me. They use their iron fist to crush me, and that's what they've done. But I won't be retaliating against her, against the courts or anything. I'm gonna go the legal route, and I'm gonna go do protests. I'm gonna make signs like this. I'm gonna make billboards, and I'm encouraging you not to vote for Judge Tom Nowak on the next election. So stand by. I'm gonna be creating something in the effect of what I just saw in the parking lot, the people that made that billboard. And I actually wanna meet those people, so I'm waiting to see if they'll come out so that we could actually do something about this. And actually, I'm probably gonna go back in the courtroom and go to that Judge Wynn's courtroom. And I wanna hear what they're talking about, because these judges are just getting away with destroying children's lives. I haven't seen my son in a full year and 1 month. 13 months I haven't seen my kid over false allegations that mother made about me. It's bullshit. This whole system is a scam. It makes you not even want to have a child ever again because of this. Jennifer called lawyers, called her attorney, the law firm, law team. When we were actually working together, working good together, we actually had something going on where we were sharing at some point. And you know what attorneys do? Oh, really? You got this going on? Well, let me hear all the evidence. Tell me all the bad things about Miguel so we can use it against him. So Jennifer had to give them all our text messages, show all our emails, and she tried to dig and find every bad thing about me. So I didn't have any choice but to get an attorney because I had to defend against all her bullshit she was going to say about me. So I had to get the attorney. And this is what they do. They say, oh, well, I can get you this much money for child support. When Jennifer and I had already agreed that I would pay her $300 to $500 a month, her attorney's like, I can get you $1,500 a month. So Jennifer's like, okay, well, let's go for it. So then Jennifer starts paying her attorney thousands of dollars every month so that she can extort money from me. It's about money. So then, of course, I've got to give my attorney thousands of dollars a month so that she doesn't do what she's going to do. So I spent $200,000 fighting for my son, and I got nothing. Jennifer Bailey spent $250,000, her parents' money. She took her father's retirement funds. Her father's 75 years old, John Bailey. She didn't have that money. None of these people have the money to do this, but she's doing this so that she can destroy me. So she lies to her family. Help me. Miguel's gonna kill me. Help. My life's in danger. Somebody, daddy, help me. So her daddy feels fucking bad, like he's got to protect his daughter against imaginary violence that never happened. And you feel my passion. I'm yelling right now. I'm screaming because this is fucked up. They're using my son as a pawn, as a weapon against me. And I stand up against it. It's absolutely filthy and disgusting that people do this to their children. She's hurting my son right now. And I am furious. And all you're going to get from me is expression of my fury right here in this safe space, because I am safe to express my anger. And she goes and turns that around. Oh, he's going to hit me. No, I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to do anything you said I'm doing, because I'm not going to prove your lies correct. You're a liar, Jennifer Bailey. And you're disgusting, filthy slob. And nothing about your life is holistic. You don't live a holistic lifestyle. You feed my son McDonald's and Sonic and Chick-fil-A and fried foods. You're a disgusting pig. My son is a healthy little boy, and I was the one raising him on a completely healthy diet, giving him grass-fed meats and growing vegetables in my own garden, organic fed foods. I never took my son to a fast food. Never once have we been to McDonald's. Never once have we been to Sonic. Never once have we been to Chick-fil-A. Never. I don't take my son to those places. And you have the audacity and the gall to claim that you're the founder of the largest holistic event in Texas. You're a fraud. These people are frauds, and they're hurting children. So, Jennifer Bailey and I have spent a combined $500,000 in the court system for what? And now my son has no father. She's got her boyfriend, a 50-year-old man, Billy Thomas, sleeping in bed with my son. That man is sleeping in bed with my son. That is inappropriate and disgusting. Fucking pedophile you are. And the court let them do it. This court let Jennifer continue on with her abuse of my son. She slapped my son in the face. I showed evidence of abuse marks on my son's body. Evidence that a dog attacked and mauled his face and bit him. And she didn't even take my son to the hospital. She didn't call animal control. It's Texas state law to call animal control and to report a dog attack and to put them in quarantine for 10 days to find out if the dog has rabies. She didn't do any of that because she didn't care about my son. She just cared about winning in court. So she knew if she reported the animal attack that I would have the records and that I would actually have evidence against her. So instead of protecting my son and giving my son the hospital care that he needed, she just pretended it didn't happen. She lied and protected the dog so that her brother's dog didn't get quarantined and taken by animal control. You see what I'm saying? This woman is a monster, and they let a monster have my child, and they restrained and punished the innocent, good, loving father. You'll never see Jennifer Bailey don a suit like me and learn law within months and spend her time studying the law and representing herself in a court of law against these corrupt bastards. I stood up against 7 of her attorneys, and 7 of the attorneys, full attorneys, she had 4 attorneys, and I had 3 city attorneys up against me. Me, little old me. That's the love that I have for my son. I'm expressing my anger and my disgust today because I'm sick and tired of my son being used as a weapon against me by this Collin County courthouse. When I told the judge this court is corrupt, the system is corrupt, he said, no, it's not. That's just how it goes. And when I cried to him just now, I said, I miss my son and I love my son. He said, okay, well, there's a process that you go through it. So that process is going through the Court of Appeals. And that process is a painstaking process. So now I got to pay $6,000 for the transcripts of this court that we had the jury trial in. $6,000 I paid to get that transcript. And it takes months for us to get that transcript. And after I get that transcript, we're going to file a notice of appeal and then draft the appeal and then file the appeal in the Dallas Court of Appeals. And then we got to wait a fucking year for these judges to peer through that transcript and find out any of the errors that we're claiming happened. And there are several. But even if they find errors, it's up to their discretion. They can deny it too. So I'm going to wait a fucking year, a whole year, just to hear whether or not these other judges are going to approve my appeal and give us another trial. And then if they decide we get another trial, then we get to do the whole thing all over again and spend $100,000 each on our attorneys to fight for our son again based on the errors that they made the first time. You see what kind of process this is? They make it impossible to fight for your son. But guess what? Me, the loving father who loves my son, Nicolas Mayu Herrera, I'm willing to do that for you, son. Because my father didn't do that for me. Your mother wouldn't do that for you. Your mother just robs people of their money and makes them pay for her mistakes so that she can hire her attack dogs to come after me because I'm passionate, because I'm intense. And yes, I am intense, and there's a reason I'm intense, because I'm here to make changes in this world. I'm here to do something different. I'm not here to follow the crowd, son, and I know you're not either. And that's why she doesn't want you being raised by me, because I'm a warrior. I'm a real man. This guy, Billy, he ain't a man. He's what we call a beta male. He's a Mitch. He's a man bitch is what he is. He does whatever Jennifer Bailey tells him to do. And he's licking her toes and bowing down to this woman. And the guy that doesn't even know me has never once spent an hour of time to get to know me, went and testified against me and said that I did horrible things to you. Son, do you believe that? Do you have any memories in your consciousness that I've ever hurt you? No, you don't, do you? You remember me. You remember the joy and the fun that we had, going to the Renaissance Festival, going to the carnivals, going to the festivals, going out in nature, going camping, doing all the fun things we do, going shopping for groceries, going to Home Depot, getting materials, making stuff together, building stuff together, working on your words and your language. I'm the one that taught you how to swim. I'm the one that taught you how to talk. I'm the one that taught you how to cook. I taught you so many things, son. And she didn't like that I was teaching you how to be a man and how to be a warrior. But I was teaching you with love. So your mom made up in her mind that I'm teaching you bad things, that I'm a bad influence on you, just because I'm a badass motherfucker. Just because I stand up to corruption, just because I stand up to police officers, I stand up to sheriffs, I stand up to corrupt judges. If you ask me, that's a great quality. We need more people like that in this world. We need more people like me who are willing to stand up to these people, these big, giant, massive, colossal corporations is what it is. This right here is a corporation paid for by our tax dollars. This is a corporation, and all they do is extort money from the public. Look at that building. It's a fortress. So I just wanted to make a testimony of what happened today, that I fought valiantly for you, my son, that I did everything that I could. I filed my motion for new trial because of the corruption that happened in the court. I even got an attorney to help me this time because the judge didn't respect me. Because judges don't respect you if you're not an attorney. If you don't have a bar card and you didn't go to law school like them, they don't care who you are. So they didn't listen to me. They didn't listen to any of my motions. He didn't hear my motions. He denied my evidence, just like you saw on the billboard over there. Judge Tom Nowak denied everything, and he's a fraud. And I got to tell him to his face today, son, I walked in that courtroom and I said, this is a fraudulent system here. The system is corrupt and it's not fair, sir. And I was respectful as possible, but he threatened to kick me out. And I stood my ground as long as I could. I said, all right, well, I'd like to know when your election date is coming, sir, because I'm coming for you. So I'm going to do what I can, son, and I'm going to document everything that I've done for you, son. And I just want you to know that I love you and I miss you, and I have a right to be in your life, and you have a right to have me in your life. And I've got Christmas presents and birthday presents that I've been saving up for you, and I'm going to get them to you someday, son. But I feel sad today because it might not be until you're 12 years old or 16. I don't know when I'm going to see you. I don't even know where you are right now. Your mom won't let me see you. So this imposter Billy Thomas is pretending to be your dad. And I know, son, that if you're anything like me, you're going to call that out someday. You're going to tell him, you're not my daddy. I want my daddy. I know that you call for me, son, because I know I've never done anything to you. That's it, son. I just wanted to make a video. I wanted to make a video for my YouTube channel, my followers. I really appreciate y'all following me and following this journey. I think it's absolute nonsense. Please go watch the movie Divorce Court. The documentary called Divorce Corp, standing for Divorce Corporation. It's a corporation, y'all. They're the people that don't even know you or your child have authority to take your child away. That's crazy to me. That's insane to me. I cannot believe that this is happening in America. Land of the free, home of the brave. Bullshit. They own you. We're all slaves to a corrupt system, and it's a tax plantation. I'm sick of it, son, but I'm doing what I can. Just so you know, I love you, son. This is me, your father. I'm your dad right here. So hopefully you get to see this video someday. But for now, thank you to my followers for checking out my channel. And we got to do something about this, y'all. This is absolute insanity here.